call it on college radio. You're welcome. You know that? You're all fucking welcome. Oh, thank you very much. That's very thoughtful. Every little thing. Everything I've done this far. Let's go. Hello and welcome to the motherfucking capital district, where your favorite rappers get bitch smacked, laughed at, spit at. It's like did at. As a matter of fact, I'm about to get at all of you bastards I missed, and I'll twist caps as an impact by the six. So
I think in the capital district, not just music, but cool stuff is you gotta do a little legwork to discover and to find out where the good stuff is. You can't just walk into Jillian's and blaze rails and listen to some fucking crappy rock group. You can, but that's the result. What you will yield from that evening will be indicative of what you've done. If you find the good stuff, you're not going to be, doing those things. You're going to be enjoying better things.
You've been smothered by a crowd of earthlings. The truth's been covered by shrouds and curtains. Who gives a fuck about Halliburton? But Kirstie Alley is about to burst in. Brad and Angelina been fucking again. But being on the cover ain't nothing to them. Michael Jackson got him on white. And this system doesn't have a price. It's like, come on, the rich man runs the funeral home.
Yeah, I mean, music has changed so much. I can't even begin to think of all the different kinds of bands that have been just in this area. This area is thick with different genres and kinds of bands, from the new emo stuff right back to Dixieland, and I'm interested in all that stuff. Started off playing piano, took a lot of piano lessons, and that helped a lot, helped tremendously with the whole percussion thing and understanding theory a little bit better. And moved to drums when my older brother Ross decided to take off for the Marines, and he left his drums behind. And it was only a matter of time, and found that it was more my speed, more of what I like to be doing. Played with Blue Hand Luke, Scotty Mack, Graham Tishy.
I'm leaving it all up to you. You decide what you want to do. Now do you want my love?
Geez, even way back in the hardcore days, Stigmata, Ill Remembered.
The first band I was in when I was 13 was called Direct Attack. It was pretty short-lived. I think we played about 3 shows, recorded a demo, and basically dissolved. After that, there was a couple more short-lived bands. When I was about 18, I think I joined Stigmata, and that's actually, in some ways, it's still going. We might be going doing a European tour next year. We haven't really done anything much over the past few years other than a reunion. Aside from that, since Stigmata and during Stigmata, I've done a few other projects. Burning Human was a main one. Influential in the way of what I play, I guess, would be bands like Agnostic Front, Cro-Mags, you know, the hardcore pioneer bands. I'm a big fan of Motorhead, Metallica, Slayer, all of the old school metal stuff, and rock stuff. You know, I like a lot of punk rock. Social Distortion is probably one of my favorite bands. The Ramones are definitely right up there. There's been a lot of really great local bands, especially the ones I've been at. No, just kidding. But yeah, there's been a lot. I liked Section 8 when they were around. They were really good. Wartime Manor, Murderers Row. You know, to get out of that, like to get into like another genre, there's like, you know, the Blue Hand Luke and that kind of stuff, like that, you know, other genres of music that have been around here. That they were really great at what they did. And bands like Super 400.
Playing with Super 400 for 16 years, and on our 10th anniversary, we were awarded this plaque by the mayor of Troy, a proclamation commemorating our 10th year in existence. And we had a party that evening and did a show here, and then we left it on the wall, and it's been there ever since. That was 6 years ago.
How long have you been playing? You play the drums, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
How long have you been playing?
I was 12 years old, just a long time ago.
You won't mention age?
Yeah, well, I'm 42, so I'm not worried about that. But yeah, I played everywhere in Troy, pretty much you play. Albany, Saratoga, and then everywhere else, other spots in the planet and the country.
Everywhere in between?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. So what would you say your favorite type of venues around here?
Locally?
Yeah.
Right here at the Allies.
You're in it right now, man.
Right in this corner.
Magic.
Right in this corner.
A lot of magic in this room.
It's not set up for a band right now, obviously, but it's you know, you can pan around this corner, and this is where we would play, and we still do.
And we are going to.
Yeah, we got our. We started here. We used to rehearse across the street, and this is where we started. So we start QE2, and here were our like the places where we became a band. And you know, these days we still play here. We like to play the Ruck, which is a great, honest, humble venue. You know.
I have a pretty wide variety of music I like to play. Of course, I have a band, Blue Hand Luke, with Tommy Love. We do classic rock stuff, Stones, Doors, Stevie Ray, etc. And And then I like to play country music, like, you know, I go to these bluegrass jams all over, at the Ale House and at Brunswick Barbecue, a few different places like that, Jose Malone's, all local places too, Troy, and I play with them, and that's been kind of a crazy cool thing because you know, saxophone doesn't belong in bluegrass, and so it's perfect for me. Because I always seem to end up where I don't belong.
Yeah.
And I like that. I've always, I guess, been a little bit of a renegade. You know, I don't follow any pattern, any preset pattern. I'm not your typical saxophone player. I really don't play much jazz. When you think of saxophone, you think of jazz. And while I listen to a lot of it, I listen to Lester Young and Coleman Hawkins and Ben Webster and all of the great jazz players. I really don't play jazz. I play rock and roll, I play country, some blues, and you know, just kind of find my own way. Top 5 venues around here, I would say, are Horseshoe Inn up in Saratoga is definitely up there. I love Sandy's Clam Bar in Glens Falls. And down more towards Troy, of course the Ale House is a classic, and the Dinosaur Barbecue is a great venue. There's a bunch of great places that we've played in the past. Daisy Baker's in Troy is another great venue.
But this place is home base.
A lot of magical performances in this joint.
Yeah.
Lots.
Like us and a lot of other people.
And the people don't even know. People in the public in the area don't even know about these joints. Yes, people, oh, what's that?
They know, but there's not, it's more of a cult kind of thing almost.
Yeah, or they're afraid to come to Troy. That's
you get that a lot.
Oh no, I don't know. I hear it's pretty rough. We have to know how to act.
I think it's one-way streets that scares people more than anything else.
So what are some of the venues that you played in this Capital District area?
There's been a lot. I mean, we started out, you know, when I was really young, we started out playing all ages shows in places like VFW halls, AOH halls, community centers, things like that. You know, eventually, you know, as time went on, as we got a little older and better, we started getting into clubs around here. I guess probably, as you probably know, one of the most popular, infamous ones was the QE2. I practically lived there for quite a few years in the early 90s, I guess. Played there with many times with several different bands. You know, it's gone now, but there's other ones that have, you know, come up. There's Northern Lights now, which is cool. Saratoga Winters was a great place to play. I played there since I was 15. We used to actually rehearse there at one point. We were on a pretty good. Had a pretty good relationship with the owner. He used to let us in there and rehearse when they didn't have gigs going on. That's burned down and gone, as you probably know. Those were, I guess, probably the most important ones that I can think of. Bogies is a good one. That's still actually going again. You know, and there's been various other places, you know, that were short-lived. But those, I think, Winters, Bogies, QE2, and now Northern Lights, those are probably the 4 for the genre of music that I'm involved in. Those are probably the 4 biggest ones around here.
My favorite place to play around here would have to be probably the Horseshoe Inn up in Saratoga. I always have a good crowd there. I always mention that you get, you know, 50% or even less of locals, and most of the people there are from somewhere else, which is great because you never know who you're going to meet. You know, you rub elbows with somebody or something like that. And it's always a good time. It's nice and early. You can go out after. You know, I like playing at the Palace. I like playing, you know, Paulie's. You know, I used to play at Bogies all the time, way back with Saratoga Winters and the QE2, which is now the Fuse Box. And, you know, even Justin's, you know, like the jazz clubs, Nine Maple, or Ciro's is a good time up there in Saratoga too, same kind of deal. You know, it's seasonal. You never know who you're going to get, who you're going to meet. You know, as far as places around here, unfortunately, you know, the now defunct Lark Tavern, you know, Tess, we miss you. You know, I understand she's working over at McGeary's now. That's a good place to play. Also, the Bayou, both of them. There's one in Glenville, one here in Albany. Down in Troy, there's all kinds of places to play. The Ale House, Brown's Brewing Company, Daisy Baker's. Where else? The Dinosaurs, new in town. It's a good place to play.
Where was the first show you did?
The first show that we played was in South Troy. Mars Place.
You guys actually did a show there?
We played a show there. I remember that show. That was our first show ever. Like, first legit show that we, like, were in a place that, like, you know,
that was
charged at the door and served alcohol and had, like, a sound system and all that. I mean, we played house parties prior to that.
Yeah, that was Fundamentals, right?
That was Divine Alliance, which was before Fundamentals. Yeah.
People's always asking me what kind of style the Mentals have. Well, I don't know, but somehow we continue to offend you fags. No, we don't get bent in labs. We'll be slumped over somewhere in a bus shelter on Central Ave. And while you talk about the venues that you say you rock, we talk about
my favorite venues have been Lark Tavern. Tess was always really, and still is, like, very supportive of anything local, whether it's arts or not. But she was, you know, she's got a particularly raging hard-on for arts. So Lark Tavern was always great, and still at McGeary's. I haven't played McGeary's since she's opened it, but, you know, we've been waiting, so we'll play there at some point. You know, Mike Valeni has always been very supportive of us at the Hudson Duster and at Bogey's, and really wherever he's been very supportive of all of us.
Yeah, he runs Bogey's now, right?
Yeah. It's not about venues so much as it's about the people. You know, there's negative things about all those places. You know, sound might not be great at one place, the ceilings might be too high at some other place where the acoustics get just, you know, compromised, and but that doesn't matter. What matters is that the relationship is a solid relationship based on respect and admiration, and as long as it's reciprocated. And I think that's not just business, that's not music, that's intimate. Any healthy relationship needs to be a reciprocal relationship. It needs to be, you know, you do something for me, I do something for you.
What are some of the influences of people that you listen to around here as far as local artists?
Everything. Local artists, Luke McNamee was a mentor growing up. Adrian Cohen, Rob Harrison was a big, you know, influence on me when I was growing up. You know, Flat Broke, Section 8. It was a mix. It was a mix between, like, jazz, hardcore, and rap, like straight hip hop. You know, music is alive and well in the Capital District.
That's true.
Yeah, of all genres. And if next time you see your brother or Luke McNamee, tell him I said hello.
I definitely will.
Yeah. That's my class.
Thanks.
Buy local. Buy local.
After the show, when the lights get dim, and after you've heard me recite these hymns, a cigarette dangles from my lifeless limb, waiting to recoup on the sacrifice I've spent just to get here. And if you've been there, then you know that it goes like this. Alright, I'll stop preaching to the choir. I assume that after you finish your album, the engineer saved the masters. And after you completed your work of perfection, the masses will greet you with commercial success. Then your circle of yes men immerse you in sweat. And if you're lucky as fuck, they'll even purchase your next one. That it won't happen like that. Most rappers write whack, more writers rap weak. Which one of you? Wait, before you answer that, please consider the way the rest of the conversation may go after I react to whatever comes out your face, ho. Okay, bro, if you say so, I'll pick apart your whole life and make you feel a day. Oh, you would've went out like a bitch from the gate.
is something we've all known, and we must face it all alone.
5 points, 5 points, 1 chromosome, 1 cesspool, 8 millimeters. 8 millimeters. I'm gonna say your name on track. You don't know, but if you ask my fam,